everyone. My name is Pachiga Ruchita, an educator of Sri Ajay Gajara English Medium School. Today we are going to learn about English grammar. The topic is simple present tense. So very first we go through about the use when we use simple present tense. So very first use of that is regular habits or daily routine. Use the simple present to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. The action can be habit, a hobby, a daily, or something that often happens. The use of simple present tense is, very first one is regular habits or daily routine. Use the simple present to express the idea that an action is repeated or usual. The action can be a habit, a hobby, a daily event, or something that often happens. It means our day-to-day routine work, our daily work, we are just only use in simple present tense. For the example, that is very first one, I play snooker. The school opens every morning at 7 a.m. He always forgets her bag. Every 12 months, the earth circles the sun. So this is the very first one is about our routine. Play soccer, that's the routine work. Opens every morning at 7 a.m. So that's also the timing is set already. Forgets her bag, so that is the habit. And this is the last one is the truth, that is the universal truth. Second use of that is facts or generalizations. The simple present can also indicate the speaker believes that a fact was true before, is true now, and will be true in the future. So that's a truth. It is not important if the speaker is correct about the fact. It is also used to make generalizations about people or things. So, examples for that: cats like milk. Caracas is the capital of Venezuela. Windows are not made of wood. So here we are talking about the truth. The third use of the simple present tense is scheduled events in the near future. Speakers occasionally use simple present to talk about scheduled events in the near future. This is most commonly done when talking about public transportation, but it can be used with other scheduled events as well also. For example, the bus leaves tonight at 6 p.m. When do we board the plane? The party starts at 8 o'clock. So this is all about the timings. So that is already set. So that also we can use in simple present tense. The next use of that is the simple present is used with adverbs like. We can also use the adverbs before that, before the verb. So very first the example is about the always. I always come to school by car. Second, often. I don't come here very often. Next is usually. He usually eats breakfast at 7 a.m. Next, sometimes. Sometimes I go to party. Next, rarely. She rarely cooks. Next is never. He is never late for class. And next is every day. They sleep early every day. So here all the adverbs that tells more about the verb. So here how we can use adverbs in simple present tense, that already we had seen. Now about the grammar rule. So whenever we are going to form the sentence, at that time some rules are there, so we have to follow that rules. The very first one is, to form the simple present, we add s to the infinitive of the verb in the third person singular. So remember this point, whenever the third person singular is there, third person singular, that's he, she, it. For that we have to add at the end of the verb s or es according to the verb spelling. So here very first the use of s. Now I live. I is the first person, that is why I live is written. But if we are just only taking same verb with the he, she or it, so that's became like this way. He lives, she lives, it lives. Next is I sing. So as that's the first person, I sing only is there, the base verb only. Now when we are using the verb for the third person, at that time we are adding as, that one is he sings, she sings, it sings. Other rule of that is, but when the verb ends in o, double s, sh, ch, x, we add es. So as I already told you, when we have to add es, that one is whenever the verb that is going to end with the letter o, double s, sh, ch or x, we have to add es at the last. Like the example, I go, as that's the first person, I go only, but if we are taking that with third person, so he, she, it goes. It means he goes, she goes, it goes. So the other examples are like this way only. Like this, I watch, he watches, she watches, it watches. Fix, I fix, he fixes, she fixes, it fixes. So we have to focus on the last letter of that verb, and then we have to add s or es according to the need. If necessary is there, then we have to just only follow this rule. Next rule is about the consonant. A consonant followed by y. The y changes into ie and we add s. So now main thing is about that only. If the verb is going to end with y, it means the last letter of that is y. So before the y, if there is any consonant letter is there, so we have to skip that y and we have to add I, E, S. So like this example, study, the spelling is study, S-T-U-D-Y, study. So the last letter is y, so we have to skip the y, we have to remove it, okay, because the D is the consonant, that is why we just only going to remove the y, and that convert into I-E-S. So the spelling is S-T-U-D-I-E-S. But when a vowel, this is very first the rule is about the consonant, but when the vowel is come before the y, so what we have to do? Nothing, just only a vowel followed by y, we just add s. It means when the y is the last letter and before any vowel letter is there, vowel letters are A, E, I, O, U. Okay? So before any y, any vowel letter is there, we have to take vowel and y as it is, no changes are there, but just only we have to add s at the end of the verb. It means he plays, she plays. Now the structure of the sentence, how we can form the sentence. So basic structure of the sentence. So very first we are going with the affirmative sentence. So that's a positive sentence. So very first we are taking the subject. Okay, the first person, second or third, whatever is there, the subject, we have to take a very first only. Then we have to take the verb. If we are talking with the first person and second person, we have to take the verb, base verb only. But if the third person singular is there, so then we have to add s, es, ies. And lastly is the complement, that's the object. Next, when we just only continue with the negative sentence, it means in the sentence, if the any negative word is coming like the no and not, at that time the sentence structure is, very first is subject, then the auxiliary word, that's the do or does, then not, then the base verb, and then the complement. When we convert the sentence into interrogative, so very first we are taking do, does, after that subject, then verb, then complement, and lastly question mark, because we are making question. That is why question mark must be there. Now here the table is given about the grammar structure. Here the subject is given to us, and here also the verb is given to us. According to that, we can understood how we just only going to form the whole the sentence. Very first, we had taken the same verb only for all the subject. If there is a first person, second person or third person, the verb is same only for understanding purpose only. Very first, I. In affirmative sentence, I is the subject, then the verb, I live. Before very first line, there is the subject. Next is the verb. I live, you live, he lives, she lives, it lives, we live, you live, they live. This is the whole the pattern of positive sentence, that is affirmative. Now when we convert that into negative, at that time we have to add do not or doesn't. It means does not. At that time we have to add do not or doesn't according to the subject. If there is a first person, second person or the plural, we are adding do not, that is don't. But if there is a third person singular, at that time we are adding doesn't. So now with these examples, I don't live, you don't live, he doesn't live, she doesn't live, it doesn't live, we don't live, you don't live, they don't live. Now mainly focus on this, he, she, it. As we already taken es with the do, so that became does. That is why with the verb we had not add here anything. Because the O, already we had learned the rule, whenever the O is the last letter of the verb, we have to add es. So that is why the word is written here, does. Now the sentence converts into interrogative. The formation of that is, do I live? Do you live? Does he live? Does she live? Does it live? Do we live? Do you live? Do they live? So like this pattern only. Here, first person, second person and the plural, that's all go with the do, and the third person singular, that goes with the does. And in interrogative sentence, as already we told before, do or does, that came before at the first at the beginning of the sentence.